Hello, traders, and happy Monday to you all. It's 8 a.m. Chicago time on November 18th, 2019. This is episode number 1641. Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss. It is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This morning, we did have a gap up. The market was trading pretty well into the gap zone above until about a half hour ago when we got commentary from China that reversed a pop higher that we had at 1 Central, 2 Eastern. We're trading below that. I'll show you that in just a bit. The overnight session price discovery has been relatively active. So currently, like I said, we were in a risk-on mood. We still are somewhat. One thing to keep in mind is that, again, the news keeps flying around and keeps moving the market in ways that are hard to predict. Currently, crude is off 35 cents. It is the weakest of the bunch that I watch. Another thing to keep in mind is that crude has rolled to January 2020 starting today. The premium differential is 11 cents, so all of your existing levels need to be adjusted 11 cents up. The symbol is CLF0 or CLF20, depending on your feed. Again, crude is down 36 cents or 0.6%. The DAX is off 57, 58 points, down 0.45%. Gold is off, trading at $14.65 and 10 cents, off 0.22%. Pretty much all of the indices are just slightly off. I mean, the Nasdaq's relatively flat. It's down only 2 points. And then the pound is the leader this morning, as there is more and more consensus and increased support for the Conservative Party in the UK. So that's where we are. This morning, one of the news events that occurred, actually, an unusual thing, is the foreign investment figure. The foreign investment figure that came out for China shows that there's quite a bit of support for increased foreign investment, which the market welcomes. And then just now, a short while ago, at about 7:21 Central, something like that, news came out that the mood in Beijing about the trade deals pessimistic. Government source tells a reporter. China troubled after Trump said no tariff rollback. China thought both had agreed in principle. Strategy now to talk, but wait due to impeachment. U.S. election also prioritized China economic support. That's what kind of aligns with the big drop, which I'll show you in a minute. So that's where we are. Excuse me 1 second. I was starting to sound like Bill Clinton there. So that's where we are at the moment. And so the sentiment has been quite bullish, and now we're really pushing lower and starting to tackle the overnight low in the ES. Here's what we expected on Friday versus what we got in our review segment. Friday, the primary expectation is a push above into 31.15 to break the overnight high and then roll over and come on down to 31.0203 to hold steady with the gap remaining open. That was scenario one. Scenario two is an attempt to push higher, and because of the new all-time high, sellers expected to come in and push us back to 30.9150, the MC point of control. Scenario three is what ended up working out, which is a small pullback from the open, which is around the point of control, and a push to 31.20, the high on Friday. As you see here, The high on Friday is 31.1950. Missed it by a couple of points, leaving us with a gap between 30.98 and a quarter and 31.03 and a quarter. Let me turn down the volume on my news feed here. So that's where we stand currently. The overnight low in the ES is in line with the prior point of control and consolidation area. This area was very, very choppy on Friday, just sitting sideways. Notice that the market got ahead of the mid and VWAP through most of the session and ended up with a terribly poor high. And so the expectation on reopen, unless, of course, there's news, the expectation on the reopen is that we would likely see a continuation higher and a burst higher as a result of that. Essentially, the market has interrupted the auction, through by closing. So above there, notice the high. The high is up against the 31, I believe it's 29.50, something like that, which is, this is a measured move target on my stock zone areas. And then the overnight point of control is at 31.2450. Let's take a look at the overnight. So, I mean, again, pretty much what was expected for scenario 3, pushing up right up against the 31.20. The measured move was spot on. Of course, that's not its intent. The intent is just simply to provide some sort of target to shoot for based on the energy from which this move has taken place. Here's the China stuff early on the European Open. Market has gone sideways, never tackled the mid, and then this is where the China news comes in. That news came out at about 7:18 Central or Chicago time, 8:18 Eastern, and then we are below the low volume node and mid and VWAP at about 31.20, and that'll be a key area to watch. Key area to watch here, double bottom at 21.75 in the overnight session. Volume is okay. So we have a low volume node mid and a double bottom here at 21.75. So the area between about 20 to 21.75 is something to watch. A bit of a line in the sand for this morning. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of coordinating the overall picture. Coordinating the overall picture, and it looks to me like I'm not sure if the impulse has gotten its continuation right there, or we are pulling back to form a bit of a bear flag for continuation lower, which is my expectation. Of course, that is barring news. Price overall has remained the overnight inventory is pretty much flat, and with this recent news, the delta is also pretty much flat on the session. It seems like the participation is balanced. Let's take a look at the order flow scene right here. Let me close the trading panel. The order flow scene. Here's the open. Right back here, Chicago time. Little opening print, bounce down, consolidate, and then form this tiny little support resistance area right here. And then we get the 1 o'clock Central, 2 Eastern push up. Again, positive news out of the UK, and also out of China. And then this is the move down. The move down started at about 31.2375 is the scene of the crime, which pushes us back into the overnight low. It never took the overnight low, which was put in early on, but here we are holding steady. You can see these pretty strong moves. I mean, this was a 10-point move up and then a 10-point move down. 10-point move down, bringing us back to where the overnight session opened. Very, very, very jerky trade. So in terms of the liquidity and where things are, I'm seeing liquidity at about 31.29 and a quarter, which is a stock zone for me. It's a measured move target as well. Measured move target as well. That's a key area. Below at 31.10, and then below there, of course, down near the 3100, 3102, we have a little bit of liquidity, and 3110 as well. Now, these are option strikes as well, so we'll see how that works. I'm not seeing a very clean overnight session in terms of an orderly kind of order flow, no pun intended. Not seeing an orderly flow of market participation, bidding, and offering. And again, we've got to keep an eye on this 31.20 to 31.21.75 area this morning. We got to keep an eye on this and see how the participants treat it. We did leave a gap zone beneath us at 31.03 quarter to 98 and a quarter. So once we get below 31.03 quarter, the gap mid of Friday, the gap zone mid of Friday is 3175. So a rotation down would target that 3175, especially if it takes out the 3 quarter. Okay, let's take a look at what we're expecting for today. But I'm going to pause for a moment here and rudely interrupt by saying, if you have not signed this petition, please do so. This petition I put on change.org, which is kind of convenient, does not cost any money. You don't need to donate, even if it asks you to. You don't need to donate. You can go to ft71.com/MCL, M as in Monica, CL. All caps. If you go to this petition and sign, I will personally deliver the petition results to upper management within the CME to get the new microcomposite product launched. I want to make sure that, don't be lazy now. It takes a group effort to get this done. I'm doing my part by having this petition up, and I will personally walk it in. The CME group building is about a block away from my office. I'll personally walk it in. And again, I've had a couple meetings with the CME on having a crude contract in a micro, 1/10 the size, kind of like the micro indices. And I want to make sure it gets done. So please take a moment to get it done. I'll stop preaching about that. Again, ft71.com/MCL. It would take you literally 15 to 30 seconds to submit this. Okay? Get it done, please. All right. So what do we expect for today? There's a nice little base beneath us. Let's take a look at that here for a second. There's a really nice little base beneath us here that is encompassing the let me change the color. That is encompassing this gap zone from 30.97, which was the high we put in at the beginning of the month, 31.03 and 31.02. This area here is a nice foundation area for a test, which puts us in the gap zone of Friday. Overall, we're opening in range. Not sure there's a lot of value on Friday, although we do have a nice profile going. We're opening in that. The expectation for today is an open that pushes lower, exceeds this low that was put in, completes that push down, and then I'm expecting an impulse up to hold steady and squeeze. Remember, the high is still relatively poor. I expect it to squeeze through and resume the same auction that we had on Friday. and I expect it to push back into this 31.24 before it settles out. The problem here is it's Monday, Montag, lundi, as they say in French. It's Monday. The range is not likely to be all that great. The volume is not likely to be all that great. So there's quite a bit of range here that I'm talking about, 31.11-ish to about 31.25-ish. Not sure if it can pull it off, but we're still at all-time highs, and we're still quite bullish. The secondary is an open that squeezes up early on, pushes into that 31.20-50 area, and then starts to move. It starts to become responsive, and it moves towards the point of control, and then retests this 31.10, 31.09 area before it holds steady. We may also end up with an inside day. I'm not sure. We're still at or near all-time highs. We did get some news moves. News is going to continue to dominate the movement, unfortunately, and so we have to coordinate for that. But I'm going off of the structure. I'm going off of the fact that we're one-time framing higher. I'm going off the fact that we had a pretty good balance zone that has fueled the push up on Friday, and we're likely to hold these prices as we have done in the recent past. So there you have it. Good luck today. I talked on Friday at the end of the recording. I believe it was on Friday about doubt, self-doubt. If you're experiencing these kinds of ebbs and flows of euphoria, things worked out today, the next day you get beat down, I suggest you listen to those 5 minutes or so. Good luck today, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Don't forget, please go and sign this petition, ft71.com/MCL in caps. Please sign that petition. It's gone strong, about 200, 250 signatures per day so far. So let's get it. Let's keep it going. Let's see if we can get it to 2,000. If you know people who trade, please send it to them. Get them to sign on. Let's get this in front of the CME and get it done, just like we did for the micro indices. Good luck.